Guys, when it comes to prop firms, I think the most important thing is getting paid out. So what's really important is the payout policy. Now, a lot of you guys probably think the best payout policy is with Top Step, and I'm going to show you that that's completely wrong. So essentially, if you look clearly at Top Steps, to take a payout, you need 5 winning days. And when you win, you can take half of your account balance. Okay? My funded futures, very long list. Somewhat similar to Top Step, but in addition to the 5 days, the minimums are different, but you need consistency. You need to look at a lot of other stuff. It's such a long list, and they deny payouts for various reasons. Better to just not even think about this one. And then there's Earn to Trade, which is the best one by far, and this is said with no bias, because unlike Top Step or My Funded Futures that may have a consistency rule, may have a minimum days, this one has one single, very simple rule. There's no days, there's no nothing. All you need is to simply make $100. On Top Step, you need your 5 winning days. Let's just say you killed it, you made 3,000, and then you did poorly for some other amount of days. Well, you might have not withdrawn a penny and you might have lost it all. In this, you kill it for a single day and you make your withdrawal. It's just that easy and just that simple. You don't need to think about it too much. So, other than that, it's clear that Earn to Trade has the best payout policy. I want to go over the best prop firm right now, just based on the deals, and show you a little bit of math to back it up. I did this last month, but as you know, with prop firms, typically each month they have new deals going on. So essentially, if you've seen my last video, I have Top Step here. There's no changes for it. But to give you the quick rundown, you have how many evals to get funded, how many funded accounts you need for a payout, and then totals for eval fees, your activation fees, total cost, and then net profit, assuming that you take a $3,000 payout. In the case of Top Step, you can see that you can only take half of your $3,000. Whereas with My Funded Futures, it's not really a set amount, but on the starter account, it's a capped to a per week amount, which I believe is $1,000. So it's a little bit different, but in all with My Funded Futures, like there's just too many ifs, ands, and all this other stuff. So generally speaking, I'd say there's almost never a case to be with it. Then Earn to Trade, simplest as I mentioned. One of the nice things with Earn to Trade that the others just simply don't offer is that you can scale. And why that's important is because you may start with a 50K account, and on Top Step and My Funded Futures, well, you're stuck with that. Whereas Earn to Trade, you can turn your 50K account into a 100K account, into a 200K account, and into a 400K account. So you can scale. And some of you guys may not really care about scaling because perhaps you want to keep the same trading size, maybe just one lot or something. In this case, it's still better because let's just say you make $3,000 with Top Step. You decide, hey, I'm going to withdraw half of that. You're at $1,500, and then your drawdown's at 0, right? So at that point, if you take another, or if you've taken that payout, your drawdown's reduced. My Funded Futures very similar. The difference with Earn to Trade is you make your 3K, you take the full payout minus your profit split, and then you move on to your next account. So while taking your payout, your drawdown actually grows. So with the other two, you're asking yourself, well, if I take this payout, will I have enough space before, just so I don't blow my account randomly? Whereas Earn to Trade, you don't need to worry about that at all. You just comfortably take the maximum payout, and then your drawdown grows, and you're just ready to keep trading as normal. So that's really the beauty of scaling. Another thing to mention, these, with Top Step and My Funded Futures, the lowest is the 50K account, whereas Earn to Trade has a 25K account. So I didn't directly compare it just because I wouldn't say it's necessarily directly comparable. But having a smaller account, you have the easiest profit target. It's the least, where your drawdown is actually quite reasonable. So if you take it as a ratio, this is actually the best ratio, meaning it's the easiest to pass. And then being on a 25K account with Earn to Trade doesn't actually mean your account is too much smaller. Because after you've hit your profit target on your funded, just a single time, you're right up to a 50K account, so on par with the others, and you've been able to pass your evaluation much easier. So I believe that while the 50K is the most popular, I think the 25K account provides extremely good value, and it's just a no-brainer really. But yeah, I've set up this spreadsheet, which I'm going to share in the description if you guys are interested, but essentially this is the scenarios for each prop firm. Of course, every trader is different, so perhaps you can look at your trading history and find what you think is suitable. But if you're a pretty average trader, you might be looking at 4 evaluations before each funded account, and then 4 funded accounts per payout. If you look at the numbers top step, you'd be left with a mere $116, assuming you make your 3,000 and you withdraw your 50%, which is the maximum you're allowed to. My funded futures, you'd be left with a negative, and I apologize, I said 1,000 earlier, but it'd be 1,200 that you're allowed on a weekly basis. And then only earn to trade leaves you with a positive sum. And once again, in that scenario, these you'd stay at your normal amount, and you'd be questioning if you have enough drawdown, your drawdown's reduced, whereas earn to trade, you'd now be on a 100K account and with an increased drawdown, so much better. And honestly, I don't think you should even consider my funded futures at all, because there's too many rules and too many things just to consider, too many ways your payout could get denied. So the only competition are really Top Step and Earn to Trade. You compare them both, and I think despite the payout policy being much better for Earn to Trade, I think the real kicker is the activation fees. Because with Top Step, every time you get funded, you pay an activation fee. Whereas with Earn to Trade, you only pay it if you get paid out, which is a much different scenario. Because if you're going through, let's just say, 5 funded accounts for a single payout, you've paid $750 in activation fees on Top Step. With Earn to Trade, you've only paid $140. So it's really much better. And the 50% profit split with Top Step that's kind of built in, because they say 100% until 10K, because you're only allowed to draw half, it's kind of misleading advertising, and Top Step really has the worst profit split if you think about it in that way. And honestly, I guess, the money doesn't disappear if you're banging payouts left and right with no problem. Sure, it might be somewhat okay, but in that case, I think you'd rather be with Earn to Trade, where you can keep scaling up if you're at that skill level. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to say for this video. If you guys are interested in Earn to Trade, feel free to click the link below. It helps me a little bit, but yeah, I really believe that Earn to Trade is the best by far, and the trader career path is really the best prop firm choice you can make.